Most money advice collapses your life into two buckets, wants and needs, as if choosing between oxygen and candy covers every decision your calendar makes. That binary is tidy for slogans and useless for Tuesdays. Real life is messier. A want can fix a problem, a need can be bloated with habit, and there's a third category no one teaches you to price, the future. If you keep treating the future as a leftover, today will always eat it. The fix is a three-bucket framework that replaces guilt with design: needs, wants, and growth. Needs keep you alive and employable. Wants make a week worth living. Growth buys you time, options, and a calmer next chapter. When each bucket has a job, your money stops arguing with you and starts working on schedule. The first mistake most budgets make is asking you to become a different person overnight. You won't. You will always want good coffee sometimes, a seat that doesn't hurt your back, shoes that don't blister, and nights when cooking loses to a walk with someone you like. Budgets that ignore this are crash diets. You behave for a week and then binge. The three-bucket framework respects human nervous systems. It gives wants a seat at the table so they stop sneaking in through windows, keeps needs honest so they don't grow roots in your account, and elevates growth from a polite afterthought to a non-negotiable bill that pays you. Start with definitions that survive a tired day. Needs are the recurring payments that keep you sheltered, fed, safe, and able to earn. Rent or mortgage, utilities that keep heat and light, essential insurance, groceries that become meals, transit that gets you to work and life, minimum debt payments, a basic phone and internet plan, childcare if it lets you work, prescriptions, and any non-negotiable obligations. Wants are everything that improves your quality of life beyond the minimum. Sit-down meals out, streaming and apps, hobbies, nicer clothes than function requires, smarter gadgets than necessity demands, better coffee, decor that makes the room kind, experiences that make the month feel human. Growth is the bucket most people forget to name. Emergency fund, investing for retirement and goals, saving for big bills that arrive annually, education that raises earnings, and principal-killing extra debt payments that buy back tomorrow's income. Needs keep the lights on. Wants keep the lights worth turning on. Growth builds the power plant so future electricity is cheap. You can't manage what you haven't named. Rename your accounts so your phone stops lying to you. Create 3 destinations where money flows automatically the day after payday: a bills account for needs, a free spend account for wants, and a wealth account for growth. Label them literally: bills, free spend, quiet wealth, so each transfer reads like a sentence, not a guess. The words you see on glass become the rules you follow when willpower is asleep. The framework is not an app, it's plumbing. How much to put where? Rules of thumb are scaffolding, not scripture. A common starting point is 50-30-20. 50% needs, 30% wants, 20% growth. In expensive cities or early careers, your needs might choose 60 to 70%. That doesn't make you irresponsible, it makes you human in a geography with math. You adjust by shrinking fixed costs over time and by protecting growth even if wants must slim for a season. If you're debt-free with high income and a stable life, your growth may be 25 to 40%, while wants sit at 15 to 25. The magic is not the exact percentages, it's the weekly rhythm that keeps them true. Growth must leave first. Needs must be honest. Wants must be weekly, so the rest of the month doesn't rebel. Honesty is where most needs go to hide. Grocery is a need. Expensive groceries bought at 8:37 p.m. because a delivery app knew your willpower's bedtime is a want wearing a need's name. Commute is a need. Ride shares because you didn't prep or your bike tire is flat is a want imposed by chaos. Phone is a need. The newest plan for features you don't use is a want dressed as a bundle. The 3-bucket framework cleans these disguises by interrogating jobs, not labels. You ask each recurring expense, what job do you perform? Could a smaller, cheaper, or smarter version do the job just as well? You stop paying for status features you never touch and start paying for frictions removed. Frictions removed are the only wants that belong near the needs table. Wants are not the enemy of wealth. Unstructured wants are. When you give wants a weekly allowance and you reload it on the same day every week, you install a governor on impulse. You no longer save what's left, you spend what's allocated. Then when the card says no on Thursday, the villain isn't you, it's the schedule you designed. The story in your head changes from "I'm failing" to "my week is full, next week fun's more fun." Psychology matters more than math here because your nervous system votes every day. If joy is scheduled in small, reliable doses, you won't scorch your entire plan once a month in a burst of rebellion. Your week will feel livable, and livable wins. Growth is the grown-up bucket, and it needs a job description you can read out loud. Growth pays your future rent, buys your future Tuesdays, and ends arguments with bosses who confuse urgency with importance. You treat growth like a bill with a due date. It gets paid the day after payday into 3 sub-buckets inside quiet wealth. Oxygen, emergency fund, quiet wealth, and big bills, the annual traps like car insurance, holidays, memberships, property taxes, and tuition deposits. Early on, oxygen gets priority until you hit 1 month of survival expenses. Then you split your growth transfer, some to investing, some to big bills, until oxygen reaches your personal target, 3 to 6 months or more if your risk is high. Once oxygen is full, everything beyond your big bills provisioning flows to investing automatically. Growth that happens is growth that didn't. The framework is a living thing. Your life changes, so the percentages swing. How do you adjust without blowing everything up? With a 90-day cadence. Every quarter, you run a 1-hour review. You print the last 3 months of transactions or export a CSV and quickly bin each line into needs, wants, or growth. You don't litigate every latte. You look for patterns. Did wants roam beyond the weekly reload? Are needs bloated by convenience? Did growth come last? If a category drifted, you change a system, not yourself. Move your grocery day so it stops colliding with meetings. Put a use next bin in the fridge so good food turns into dinner before it becomes trash. Cancel a bundle you don't use. Renegotiate insurance. Swap a now delivery habit for a weekly pickup. Then reset the transfers and move on. Your goal is drift-proofing, not self-scolding. The 3-bucket framework shines during raises and shocks because it gives you defaults. If you get a raise, you don't ask, "What should I do?" You apply the raise rule, route 70 to 90% of the raise to growth, and allow a small, single, intentional want upgrade that reduces friction, better chair, lamp, or meal kit that saves decision fatigue. You enjoy the raise without needing it to survive, and you build future income inside your accounts. If life throws a shock, car repair, surprise travel to family, or a boiler that thinks it's a comedian, your big bills or oxygen pays it. Wants may pause for a week, growth keeps running at a smaller amount, and then returns to normal. You didn't quit, you flexed. Flex is the difference between plans that live and plans that become New Year's resolutions that died on January 12th. People ask where debt fits. Minimum debt payments are needs. They keep the wolves out. Extra debt paydown is growth because it buys back future cash flow and lowers stress. In a season where APRs are high, you can tilt growth more toward debt attack while still feeding oxygen to protect the streak. When the ugliest balance dies, you route its old payment into investing automatically for at least 1 month, so your nervous system sees that life didn't shrink when the debt ended, it expanded. Then you choose your next growth priority, maybe finishing oxygen, maybe a down payment fund. The conveyor belt keeps moving. That belt is how ordinary incomes create extraordinary calm in 10 quiet years. What about fun that doesn't fit neatly? Gifts, travel, occasional splurges. You preload them in big bills, inside growth. That sounds paradoxical, fun as growth. But if you fund fun on purpose, you stop robbing growth later. A travel line that you feed monthly is not extra, it's a declared value. You're not asking your budget for permission every time your friend invites you to a weekend away. You already answered in January. The 3-bucket framework doesn't shrink your life, it narrates it so you can live more of it without apology. Let's run a week with the buckets to make this practical. Payday is Friday. Saturday morning, your transfers hit. €1,800 to bills for needs, €300 to free spend for wants, reloaded weekly at €75, €700 to quiet wealth for growth, €200 to oxygen, $300 to investing, $200 to big bills. Your phone says it out loud because the accounts are named. You shop for groceries on Sunday with a list you made after checking the Use Next bin. You plan 3 batchable dinners and leave room for takeout on Thursday because that's your long day. You move your phone to grayscale at 9 p.m. so the shopping apps lose their magic. Tuesday, you buy a book from your free spend. Wednesday, you skip an ad because the 24-hour cart rule moved the decision to Thursday morning. You delete it because the feeling passed. Friday, your investment app pings. Deposit succeeded. You didn't day trade your future on a headline. You let the pipe carry your week. You can go deeper with tiny upgrades that reward your future self instead of abstract savings. In needs, you buy a better chef's knife and a pan that doesn't fight you. Dinner stops becoming delivery bought by fatigue. In wants, you keep a short upgrade list. A lamp for the reading chair, a second charger that lives in your bag, a shoehorn by the door, a coat hook where piles grow. These reduce weekly friction and keep wants from chasing novelty. In growth, you define milestones with feelings attached. When oxygen hits 2 months, we book the train to see my sister. Your brain likes finish lines. Give it clean ones. Each milestone increases your identity as someone whose money moves itself while you live. Couples and households need choreography, not democracy by argument. Agree on definitions and on a weekly wants number for each adult. Keep a small shared wants pot for dates and joint treats. Make one person the operator for bills and one the operator for big bills so responsibilities are clear and no one becomes the household's unpaid collections agent. Run a 10-minute Sunday meeting. Bills are green, growth hit, wants reloaded, one friction to kill this week. Celebrate small wins, on-time streaks, a month where big bills saved you from a card swipe, a week when you said no to a cart and yes to a walk. Money is not an accounting test, it's a teamwork exercise. Edge cases reveal the framework's strength. Variable income, allocate percentages, not amounts. 55% needs into bills, 15% wants into free spend, 30% growth into quiet wealth. Keep a slightly larger oxygen so lean months don't wreck your streak. Bonus season, apply a windfall policy you wrote in Calm. 60% growth, 30% friction-reducing upgrades, 10% joy. Caring for family? Include remittances in needs because they are needs. You are supporting real humans. Student life? Your needs share will be high. Growth is tiny but non-zero. €10 to oxygen and €10 to investing just to keep the identity alive. High-cost city? You attack fixed costs with patience. Roommates or house hack? Negotiate rent at lease end with comps and your on-time history. Trade a car for transit where feasible. Switch to budget billing for utilities, and shrink unused square meters before you sacrifice growth to the city's appetite. The 3-bucket framework is not about deprivation, it's about deliberate defaults. It lets you say, I buy coffee because my wants funded it and my growth didn't suffer. It lets you say, I replaced a failing tire today and my life didn't flinch because oxygen did its job. It lets you say, I invested on Friday while the market argued with itself because my calendar is the market I care about. It gives you language to refuse random upgrades in the needs category and to pick a few wants that are actually life upgrades, not just boxes. It lets you be generous on purpose because you funded generosity as a shared value in big bills instead of treating it like a surprise every time. Most importantly, it frees you from the moral drama of money. You stop judging yourself for wanting things. You stop calling every purchase self-care when it's really self-sedation. You stop performing poverty for the internet and start performing stewardship for the humans in your home. The buckets don't ask you to be a monk. They ask you to be a manager. Managers schedule what matters and build systems that keep working when they take a day off. That's what this is, a system that keeps working when you're tired, sad, busy, bored, or delighted. You will be all of those this year. Your money can't demand your best mood to behave. If you like formulas, here is one you can tape to your fridge and bend to fit your city and your season. Needs less than 50% over time, wants 10 to 30% weekly, growth greater than 20% always. When needs are above 60 to 70% because of life, you protect a non-zero growth, even €25 per payday, to keep the identity and compound the habit. As fixed costs fall, you raise growth first and wants next. Every raise you split by rule. Every quarter, you review drift and adjust systems. You do not negotiate with your worst day, you negotiate with your calendar. The framework isn't perfect, nothing is. You'll mislabel something, overspend a week, raid free spend for a gift you forgot to plan, underfund big bills, and get surprised by the dentist. That's fine. You adjust amounts, fix the upstream, calendar it for next year, create a dental line in big bills, and keep the transfers moving. The success of this isn't that you become flawless. It's that your average Tuesday becomes so well set up that your outliers don't wreck the month. By the end of one quarter on the 3-bucket framework, you'll notice odd new calm. Your bills will be boring, your wants will be sweeter because they fit, your investments will show up without drama, your emergency fund will quietly cross a line that makes you breathe deeper. If you keep going for a year, the compounding will be visible, not just in accounts, but in decisions that stop arriving as emergencies.
The bucket named growth will have bought you choices. Choices at work, choices for family, choices about where you live. The wants you kept will be the ones that kept you. And the needs, they will be the honest size of your life, not the gravitational field of your paycheck. You don't need a spreadsheet to start. You need 3 names, 3 transfers, and 1 weekly reload. Needs, wants, growth. Give each a job. Let the calendar do the heavy lifting. Then watch as the argument in your head fades and the life you're building steps forward, one quiet Friday at a time.